everyone. Let us see the first chapter of financial management, that is nature of financial management. Introduction. What is financial management? Financial management means management of finance. The development in the field of science and technology has brought changes in industrial and business practices. So the changes in industrial and business practices has brought or has its impact on financial management, because the previous century that has started with a small group of investors investing in corporate securities, and that century ended with large number of investors investing in corporate securities, including household savings. Even a small amount household savings andre which is very small, and that amount also going to invest in financial management. That much changes that has happened in the field of financial management. This is because the financial instruments were simple, and coming to the companies were earning surplus funds. They had surplus funds due to high profit margin. In case of software industries, in case of IT industries, profit margin is very high. Or maybe because of quick execution of projects. If you finish projects within a time specified, you will save the cost. Or maybe because of the absorption of information technology, if you use technology, you are going to save the cost. Because of all these reasons, companies were having surplus funds, and these surplus fund, if you keep as it is, it will not generate any income, because cash is an idle asset. If you keep it in a locker, it will not generate any income. So if you want cash to earn income, you have to invest it. So companies started to invest in different companies securities. ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಬೇರೆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ which company security is good, which company security is better, so that is going to be studied with the help of financial management concept. So the financial management concept gained its importance. Now let us see the meaning of financial management. Financial management is concerned with raising financial resources and their effective utilization towards achieving organizational goals. So financial management, it is all about acquisition of funds and using of that funds in order to get maximum return. So by getting maximum return, we can achieve the organization goal. What may be the organization goal? The main objective of every company is to earn profit. So if you manage the finance effectively, you can increase the profit of the company. So let us see the definition. According to Ezra Solomon, financial management is concerned with efficient use of an important economic resources, that is capital funds. So financial management, it is concerned about efficient use. What is efficient use means? Efficient use means acquisition of funds and getting optimum return by using it in an optimum way. So getting the maximum return from the fund which we raise, that is what efficient use means. So financial management, it is all about acquisition of funds and using that funds in such a way that company should get maximum return from that fund. So business, whether it is small or large, it requires funds, because finance is called lifeblood of the company. If there is no finance, no company can survive. So for the survival of the company, finance is required. If that finance is not managed effectively, then it will lead to the closing down of the company. So finance manager has to select the financial source from where or from which company has to raise the fund and how to use it It should be used in such a way that it should give maximum return to the company. So this is about the introductory part of financial management. There are two well-known approaches to financial management, that is traditional approach and modern approach. Now let us see scope under traditional approach. So traditional approach gives a limited role to financial management. But this approach is valid even today, where the profit margin is low or the companies which are small in size, they used to follow this approach. The scope is limited in following areas, that is raising funds. Raising funds. Every business requires funds for its activity. So these funds are going to raise from various sources. So finance manager of a company, he has to select which source is beneficial to the company, which source gives maximum benefit to the company. So that source finance manager has to select. But under traditional approach, it gives a limited number of sources. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ options ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Very limited number of sources that company will have, and through that finance manager has to raise the fund. And this approach cultivates a market friendly image. So through this image, company can raise the fund whenever it wants from the investors. So from investors, it can raise the fund at any time. It need not to go for raising only in a domestic, that means within a country ಮಾತ್ರ raise ಮಾಡುವಂತ necessity ಇಲ್ಲ. It can raise fund from the foreign market also, because the countries like UK, US, where funds are available at cheaper cost, so finance manager can raise the funds even from the foreign market. So this is about raising funds, about raising funds using different sources. Finance manager has to select the source which gives maximum benefit to the company. External reporting. Every company, means every joint stock company, need to prepare annual accounts, and after preparation of annual accounts they have to send it for auditing. After done with auditing, they have to send that copies of audited accounts to the governmental bodies. So every company need to prepare annual accounts, and accounting bodies of each country provides a mode for preparation of annual accounts. There will be a prescribed mode. In that manner, that company has to prepare annual accounts, and then they have to present in front of shareholders at annual general meeting. Along with shareholders, even general public, academicians, experts, they can also refer the annual accounts of the company to check the financial position of the company. Along with governmental bodies, accounting bodies, Securities Exchange Board of India, they also provide a regulation for the preparation of annual accounts. The listed companies who list their shares in a stock exchange, they have to prepare financial statements 4 times in a year. That means they have to prepare and publish quarterly financial statements, so that they can give up-to-date information. That means company can give up-to-date information about the company to the general public, that is shareholders. So company has to prepare annual accounts, then they have to send it for auditing, and they have to present audited accounts in front of shareholders. Institutions and instruments. Financial management studies the institutions which are operating in capital market and instruments which they use for mobilizing funds. Along with that, money market instruments and institutions which are operating in money market that are studied by the finance manager. So this is to raise the funds. So first step we have seen about raising of funds. That means from which source we have to raise the fund, which source we have to select for raising fund. And second, where we have seen preparation of accounts, annual accounts, and presenting in front of shareholders and members. And third says about institutions. So which institutions we have to select for raising funds and which instrument we have to use. So this is about traditional approach. Now let us see limitations of traditional approach. Traditional approach that narrow down the scope of financial management. It has following limitations. First one is over emphasis on external reporting. According to critics, reporting to shareholder is done once in a year, so it is an annual affair. But financial management faces far more serious problem than that. Just ಆ್ಯನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ವಿಷಯ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಸಿಸಮ್ ಈಸ್ invalid because companies now they are preparing financial statements 5 times in a year. It is no longer an annual affair. 5 times in a year they are preparing. That means 4 quarterly financial statement plus annual report they are preparing. So this is to give information, up to date information to the shareholders about the working of the company. So financial management is concerned about preparation of annual accounts. It is to give correct information to the shareholders about the working of the company. So that's why this criticism is invalid. Preparation of annual accounts is important. Next limitation is corporate bias. Traditional approach is concerned about the finances of corporate bodies, means about the joint stock companies. There are non-corporate bodies like partnership firms which also operates on large scale. But traditional approach that keeps these organization out of the scope, out of traditional approach. That's why this traditional approach is criticized. Third limitation is insignificant role to working capital management. Traditional approach gives importance only to long-term financing. It will not give any importance to working capital management. Working capital means the capital which is required for day-to-day activities, which is very important not only in olden days but also modern days. So working capital management is very important, but that is not given importance under traditional approach. Next limitation is ignoring routine problems. Here more importance is given for long-term financing of the company, the finance which is required for mergers and takeovers. Mergers and takeovers are experienced by very few companies, and some companies they will not experience it in not even in once in its life. But traditional approach gives importance to mergers and takeovers. To finance mergers and takeovers it requires long-term finance, so it gives importance to that. But it is not a routine problem. It ignores the routine problems. There are other problems which the company is facing. For example, paying wages to the worker, salaries to the worker. What about financing that is not studied. Routine problems are not studied here. Only the long-term finance which is required for mergers and acquisitions or for creating fixed asset, that is given important. Short-term financing for facing routine problems, that is ignored by the traditional approach. Next limitation is descriptive approach. This is the last limitation. Traditional approach is descriptive in nature than analytical. It is purely theoretical. It try to give theoretical solution to the problems of financial management. There are statistical and mathematical models that are used to study this discipline but that are ignored. Statistical and mathematical models are completely ignored by the traditional approach. It is purely theoretical in nature. So this is about traditional approach. Next modern approach, we'll discuss it in next video. Thank you.